There is a crisis, energy crisis, and there is demand.
There is a lot of momentum in getting hydrogen projects across the road.
Filling up at this station on the way to South Korea's technology capital Ulsan takes all of about 5 minutes. The fuel is hydrogen. At the moment, fewer than 1% of vehicles made by the nation's largest car manufacturer Hyundai are hydrogen powered. The government plans to install another 1,000 stations like this one by 2040. South Korea is racing ahead to meet its carbon neutrality target by 2050. A big part of that is with hydrogen, and it can't reach that final destination without Australia.
Emission-free, sustainable transportation solution is a present-day reality.
Korea is Australia's third largest trading partner, importing more than $24 billion worth of coal and gas from us in 2021-22. It's hoped those strong ties will be relied on to meet the nation's 2050 energy target.
It's not going to be possible for Korea to produce all of that hydrogen domestically, so they're going to need to import it from elsewhere. Because of the strength and trust and longevity in the Australia-Korea relationship, there's strong potential for our companies to work together to help fill that Korean need for clean hydrogen.
But the viability of hydrogen is still being tested.
We think incentives really need to start in order to feel like this hydrogen story is not just hype, but it has reality to it.
The United States is speeding up its energy transition. The $369 billion Inflation Reduction Act promises massive subsidies for renewable and green projects. Here, the Albanese government's injecting $2 billion into the hydrogen industry. Fortescue, which itself has invested about $1 billion into R&D, says it's a first step.
I certainly see a future where hydrogen and the export of renewable energy will be as important as iron ore, other commodities and LNG have been to the Australian economy.
Korea's demand for hydrogen is gaining momentum. The country imports more than 90% of its energy and natural resources. The biggest zinc refinery in the world, Korea Zinc, produces metals to make the batteries the world needs to electrify. It sources much of its power from its Australian energy business, which is developing a hydrogen hub in Townsville.
Without Australia, we can make renewable energy 100 by 2050.
Korea Zinc, via its subsidiary Arc Energy, hopes to import more than 500,000 tonnes of green hydrogen from Australia every year.
But transporting hydrogen, which needs to be converted from a gas to a liquid and kept at minus 250 degrees Celsius, isn't easy.
There are notable energy losses in conversion to, say, something like ammonia, which hydrogen can be converted to and then sent across the sea. But if you send it as liquid hydrogen, there are even bigger penalties in terms of energy loss because you have to cool it so much.
Korea's government-owned research hub, Ulsan Technology Park, is calling on Australia to work together to overcome those challenges.
I suggest to cooperate in terms of shipbuilding and mass production of ammonia to supply to Korea.
60 kilometres north of Ulsan is the city of Pohang and home to Australia's single biggest customer, Posco. It buys more than $7 billion worth of Australian resources like iron ore and coal every year. Korea's biggest steelmaker, Posco, plans to invest $28 billion in Australia as part of its investment into hydrogen. It wants to use hydrogen to fuel a plant near Western Australia's iron ore mines that refines ore into hot briquetted iron, which is then shipped to Korea to be turned into steel.
I actually think that's the big opportunity that hydrogen presents Australia, is that given the challenges to transport hydrogen by ship, we actually have an opportunity to do more value-add processing onshore and then export that product.
About half of all new resources projects in the pipeline are centred around hydrogen. If all goes to plan, analysts say it could deliver Australia its next resources investment boom.